The possibility of Canada becoming the 51st state of the United States has sent shockwave across North America, and Canadians, they are particularly concerned about the consequences. US President Donald Trump recently made the headlines with his bold stance that Canada should be part of United States, claiming that America subsidizes its northern neighbor and loses $200 billion annually due to trade imbalances. His statement, made in a media interaction, was not just political rhetoric. It was a direct challenge to Canada's economic and political sovereignty. While many in Canada dismissed Trump's comments as mere bluster, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has warned that this is a real thing, implying that Trump's administration sees Canada as a valuable resource hub and might use economic pressure to gain control. You know what? If such a scenario were to unfold, it would have massive consequences for Indians that are living, working, and studying in Canada. Canada is home to over 1.4 million Indian origin people, including skilled professionals, entrepreneurs, students, and permanent residents. Hypothetically, if Canada were to become a US state, it would fundamentally alter immigration law, work visa, and education policy. One of the biggest reasons Indians prefer Canada over the US is its relatively simpler immigration system, where programs like Express Entry and the Post-Graduation Work Permit allows Indian professionals and workers to transit very smoothly into permanent residence. However, if Canada were absorbed into the United States, Indian migrants might find themselves subjected to complexity of America's H-1B visa system, which is notorious for long wait time and strict quotas. Moreover, the current backlog for green cards in the US is already a big nightmare for thousands of Indians. If the same system were imposed in Canada, it could take decades for Indian professionals to secure their future in the country. Let me tell you that the impact would not be limited to immigration. Canada is preferred destination for Indian students because of its affordability of tuition fee, relatively easier pathway to work permit, and welcoming policy for international graduates. Now, if Canada becomes part of the US, education costs would likely skyrocket to American level, making it unaffordable for many Indian families. You know, the financial burden of students' loan in the US is significantly higher than in Canada, and this could discourage Indian students from pursuing their studies in Canadian institutions. Additionally, the work opportunity for graduates would become more restrictive, mirroring the US job market, where foreign workers often face uncertainty over visa renewals and employer sponsorship. Then comes the business perspective. Indian entrepreneurs who have thrived in Canada due to its business-friendly environment and lower corporate tax rate may also face difficulties. The US has stricter tax law, and incorporating American regulations into Canada would make it more expensive and complicated for Indian businesses to operate. Many Indian exporters use Canada as a base to access the US job market just under existing trade agreements. But if Trump forces new trade policies, these businesses could face higher tariff and barriers to enter. The uncertainty surrounding trade policy could also impact the thousands of Indian professionals working in IT, manufacturing, export industries in Canada, as companies may rethink hiring strategy under new regulation. Also, one of the biggest concerning aspects of Trump's rhetoric is his claim that Canada is not viable as a country without US trade and military support. Historically, if we see, then Canada has relied on its NATO partnership with the US for defense and security. Trump's warning that the US may no longer protect Canada military if it does not comply with its economic demand suggests that he is willing to use security threats as leverage. If Canada is forced to align itself more closely with the US policy, its ability to independently form any trade and diplomatic relation, including with India, could be severely restricted. For India, this means a potential shift in economic partnership and reduced opportunity for collaboration with Canada in key sectors such as technology, pharmaceuticals, and energy. Adding to the uncertainty, Trump's economic warfare against Canada has already begun. His announcement of 25% tariff on all steel and aluminium imports, including those from Canada, indicates a high-pressure strategy to force compliance. If Canada fails to meet Trump's demand, further economic restrictions could be imposed, which would disrupt industries that employ thousands of Indian workers. Given that Indian professionals have significant presence in Canada's IT and business sector. Now, any disruption to trade and commerce could have direct impact on job security and wages for Indians that are working in Canada. So, it is very important to recognize that this is not the very first time when Canada's sovereignty has been questioned. Throughout history, the US has exerted economic and political influence over Canada. However, Trump's aggressive stance on America First policies, combined with his willingness to disregard international norms, makes this situation really unique. The implications of such a move could extend far beyond just Canada and the US. It would shake up global geopolitics, affecting alliances, trade agreements, and the balance of power in North America. Now, for Indians in Canada, this situation presents both risk and opportunity. If Trump's vision becomes a reality, then Indian immigrants could find themselves navigating an entirely different legal and economic landscape. And at the very same time, India could strengthen its position by offering Canada an alternative economic partnership, reducing its dependence on the US. If Canada resists US pressure, India has the potential to step up as a key trading partner, enhancing bilateral ties and securing economic benefit for both the nations. The Indian government, business, and students must closely monitor this evolving situation and prepare for all possible outcomes, as the future of Canada and fate of Indians living there hangs in a balance.